Here we go. West Hove Golf Club podcast with Ryan Fenwick, the head professional, and Dean, the head greenkeeper. So today's topics, we're going to be talking about the tees, the good and the bad, and what we notice and what we're looking after at the moment, the fairways and the approaches. I think most members will see the growth has started to come now out on the golf course. Certainly the greens have really kicked on, so it's great to see the growth there. So Dean, let's talk about the tees, fairways and approaches.
Sure. I think that's a really good point you bring up straight away is the progress we made on the greens. And now we're getting into a slightly better position with them playing surfaces. We hope to kick on everything else. Obviously, like many other golf clubs, I think we've carried out quite good practices over the spring. But the issue we've been faced with is the recovery and the germination from the seeding and the work we've done in the spring. So, yeah, fairways and tees especially have been affected by this.
For an example, we did a course walk earlier on this morning, and one of the tees you mentioned was the 9th tee that clearly has some effects of Leatherjackets.
Yeah, so I think more the forward tees, but all of them are showing signs of damage. I actually played golf with the general manager, Rebecca, about a month ago and dug up a small, inch by inch part of the green, and we found about 6 or 7 Leatherjackets living under there. We sprayed for them in autumn, but like many other golf clubs, some areas of our course have been affected by Leatherjackets. When we did our walk this morning, we did see 1 or 2 kicking around there, nowhere near as much. But I think I put that down to the dryness. I think if we get moisture, you'll see them come back up to the surface.
It was interesting because the tee on 9, obviously struggling with Leatherjackets, and we walked to the fairway, and it's one of the best fairways
Absolutely
that we have coverage of grass on the golf course. We know there's reasons for that, but maybe members and people might not understand why. So some of the fairways we know we're struggling with would be the 2nd, the 10th, the 5th, the 15th.
Yeah.
So is there kind of a reason that the 9th fairway is better than those fairways?
Yeah, I think from what I've learned since I've been here, there's been this historic issue with Leatherjackets at this golf club. I think they fly in from the direction of the wind, from the predominant wind direction, and then they sort of have a slight corridor where they seem to land through the course, and it sort of banks onto the 15th green. That's where they end up for the most part. I know we've had damage on other areas like the 5th fairway, but it's really isolated. Like the example you just given, the 9th tee has been severely affected by Leatherjackets, but then you go to 9th fairway and it's one of the best ones out there. So I think a lot of it's historic. It's trying to get on top of it. We do spray a chemical called Acceloprin to try and keep on top of these areas, and that's the only sort of chemical method we can use to stop or slow down the damage. We can do sheeting. That is sort of a last resort if everything goes not your way. So we may resort to that if things really get worse, but I think at the moment it is areas and we're sort of on top of it to a degree. The fairways by no means are where we want them to be. I think we're going to have a busy renovation come autumn to try and correct that.
And the spraying and the chemicals and the further works, and obviously there's limitations on what can be done, what can't be done, etc. So I know you've got a plan in place, but is spraying and things like that part of the process?
Yeah, so we put down our granular fertilizer back probably about 4-6 weeks ago now, and it took a little while for it to sort of take effect because I think the weather and the rain hasn't really played ball, and I think that's when we saw the fairways pick up a little. We had a day of rain, so when we had that day of rain, that you could see a slight improvement, and we just want to promote better growth going forward. So we are starting to put down some products, so some ammonium sulfate, so that's nitrogen, sort of a decent released nitrogen that will help perk it up, and that definitely perked them up last time when we sprayed it. So we'll look to do that again going forward. I think our sort of method is to create such a healthy plant and such a good growing environment that it almost outcompetes the Leatherjackets going forward. But yeah, I think there's other factors in play here where we haven't had rain and it's been severely dry. We've obviously done overseeding in spring and the slits are still visible in some areas, in the patchy areas especially, like many other golf clubs. We done all the right things. Prior to that being done, it wouldn't stop raining. So it's been a tricky period to manage, but members have been really understanding. They get it, and we'll try everything we can going forward. Yeah, so sorry, just to finish off on like our autumn maintenance. So what we're planning to do going forward, I think we'll try and get another granular winter slow release fertilizer out, and we'll continue doing our liquid feeds, and we'll be doing a lot of overseeding, and hopefully conditions work in our favour come autumn.
Absolutely. I think we got rain forecast tomorrow as well. So hopefully that will help the process of what we're all trying to do at West Hove Golf Club. So Dean, thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Cheers.